Hello and welcome to This Naked Chat, a podcast where six friends from different walks of life come together for honest, unscripted conversations about living alcohol-free and everything that comes with it. We all met at a live event hosted by Annie Grace of This Naked Mind in March of 2024. What started as a mastermind group with the six of us and Annie turned into some really deep friendships, filled with connection, tough conversations, and a lot of laughter. And after a year of growing and learning together, we realized that these conversations might help more than just us. So here we are, no scripts, just real talk. We are incredibly grateful to Annie and This Naked Mind for helping us get this off the ground and for the impact that her work has had on each of our lives. I am Brian, and I am joined by Kori, Agnes, Judi, Jenie, and Sammie. Let's dive in. Yay! Hello, everyone.
Hey, Brian. Hey.
Let's see. We're missing a couple. We have Sammie, Kori, Agnes, Brian today. Here's the hat. I'm really going to just peel it out and read it this time. I promise.
Let's hear it.
Yep. Ready? And damn it! I didn't. How did alcohol impact your career, professional path, or not? Might you have gone a different way? Ooh. Whew. So this is a recent addition to the hat because I just put this in there like this week. So interesting.
It's a good one, I think. It's very relevant. It's very relevant.
I wish we had everyone. This would be a wonderful topic for the others as well, but we'll make it. We'll do this. Who wants to start? How did alcohol impact your career or professional path or not? Might you have gone a different way?
I mean, early in my career, it was a huge part of work. I mean, my professional career started out in the military, and alcohol is part and parcel to that whole experience. You can't be one of the guys without drinking. So, I probably wouldn't have gotten as far, honestly, if I didn't drink. I don't know. It's hard. I didn't live that experience, so it's hard to say, but it definitely felt very much a part of it. And then when I, went into civilian work, it was still very much a part of it, probably because I made it a part of it, but like, that's how I related to people, that's how I got to know people in the company. And that's how I, made connections, and those connections allowed me to do things in my job because I could go, to my buddy's office who I just had happy hour the night before and say, hey dude, we need X, Y, and Z. Can you, push this through and whatever. And, so it was very much a part of it. And it's one of those like two sides of the coin thing, where we all can see how it's destructive in our lives, but also it served a purpose, right? Like we medicated and we used it as a tool. Yeah. And so now, of course, my career is totally different, and alcohol was very much part of that as well, like pushing me into health and wellness, because I finally was like, this is not working anymore. And, I think it's not working for a lot of people, and they would like help in that. So yeah, alcohol, I would say, at least for me, has been part of the fabric from the beginning.
Yeah. Well, mine was, I did my nurse training years ago. And I think, again, in the medical profession, even though there's a kind of a thought that maybe we should know better, it's work hard, play hard mentality. So, you work the shifts, and deal with the stress by self-medicating with the alcohol. But then sort of to add a curveball into that as well, I've worked in addiction for almost 30 years. So,
right.
There was a huge amount of conflict for me and cognitive dissonance for me, because obviously I'm helping people with their addictions, including sort of alcohol dependency and things. And then coming home and, having a drink myself every night. So it's very much tied I think it is probably to most professions now, to be honest. As a way of de-stressing. I think in terms of the path I'm on now, perversely, it's because of the journey I've been through, it's actually helped me massively, because I have literally been both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
So it helps me to feel like I can understand a lot better in terms of where people are at.
Did you see it in the addiction space? Was it similar to like, what Kori was talking about in the corporate space? Was it a piece of that? Like, do people go to happy hours after work, or was it more on your own? Like, I know you said in the nursing space, it was very prevalent. Did it feel that way in the addiction space?
I mean, if we had sort of nights out, then we would, we'd all be around drinking.
Yeah.
Absolutely. To the point, people would sort of joke about it, wouldn't it? Oh, look at us. Because it's just crazy, really, when you think about it. But I don't think I've ever been to a work stu where it hasn't been around drinking.
Yeah. Interesting.
Well, for me, so it would have been, I've been self-employed for pretty much my whole life. So it was a very different stressor that I had. So it was constantly, as being self-employed, you're solving problems. That's what you're doing all day long. So your focus is, okay, problem. That's what keeps on coming. So, having the alcohol was amazing, because that's where it could calm and relax. You feel all of it. And then I felt like I was able to brainstorm and be more creative by drinking. So then it's like the business meetings, even if it's the business meeting by myself, it's like sitting there and like, oh, what about this? And what about that? And I felt like, number one, I'm numbing myself, but I'm calming my nervous system down, because that's what alcohol does. It relaxes you in that way. It's doing its job. And then it's like, okay, now I could explore all of these ideas, which was amazing, because I thought, oh my God, I need the booze now to explore ideas, because if I'm not calm, I can't, because then I'm focused on being angry or upset or overwhelmed. But then what I found is the following day, well, now I have no patience, and now reality hits. So guess what? My prom's still there. And all of these fantastic ideas that I had the night before, well, they don't seem that fantastic anymore, because they maybe weren't realistic on top of that. So now I'm like not feeling good. My creative ideas, I'm overwhelmed now, because I'm like, that doesn't make any sense anymore. And I just physically and mentally don't have the capacity for everybody else's bullcrap. So now I feel like I'm reacting more than responding. Then it's like, that's where it's that quick, no, we're not doing this. No, forget about it. So I just feel that it changed the way that I managed. It was a totally different type of experience for me. If I was to do it all over again, oh, I would definitely. I feel like if I didn't have the alcohol within my body, within my system, the days after, I just feel that I would have the ability to have the self-awareness, but the curiosity, all of these other things I think would kick in, aside from just focusing on, getting through the day, because that's what it felt like, getting through that day. It's like, oh my God, I can't deal with this. So that's sort of how it happened. And that's why obviously now I'm out of it completely. And I just feel like, oh my God, the struggles that anybody with any type of pressure, and it doesn't matter what it is, but even in the business world, it's like all that upper management, it's all that pressure. If you're not finding a way of having that self-care for yourself and finding a way without the numbing part of it, it's like nothing, the problems don't go away. They're there tomorrow or a few hours later. If anything, they're worse because now you're beating yourself up. You're feeling like crap. That's how I felt. Like, why the hell did I drink? Why this? Why that? But not realizing the impact that I was making the days after the drinking sessions.
I think I didn't see what Kori was saying, but like for that first part of that question, how did alcohol impact your career professional path? I see that to be true. Like I was always the happy hour person. So like no matter what it was, whether there was something stressful that happened, whether we were celebrating something, I would find people to go. And I think that I would imagine during that time it helped, like you're saying, because the connections that I had were deeper with people, even kind of probably superficial than the people who weren't in that crowd, right? So like I think it probably did give me an advantage. I do think though, like, man, when I think about how much it held me back though, from like, from like, was I really doing my best work after a happy hour where I went out, at 5 and stayed until midnight? I can't imagine. That's all I was thinking about, is like how much more I had in me than I gave. Like I probably was giving 60% all the time, like just in a fog most of the time.
So sometimes though, I think you're like, because you're so self-conscious about trying to overcome that, you're like, you will overperform because you're like, oh, I'm such an asshole. Like I feel like shit. So I have to like do more because I'm trying to overcome feeling like shit.
Well, that's interesting because like I did like a lot of my mindset back then was to work harder than everyone else. Right. So like I definitely put in the hours. But boy, I bet I could have done that without doing that.
I think I didn't necessarily pick up on it in the first time you read this question, but I wonder if the question isn't that, would you have done, like, did it affect your career trajectory? Because if it weren't for numbing yourself, you would have done something else. You know what I mean? Like if you would have been able to like heal your mental state 20, 30 years ago, would you have not even gone down that path? And the only reason that you were able to go down that path was because you're freaking medicating yourself every day and trying to ignore the fact that you freaking hate your life,
Yeah, that last part of that question is, might you have gone a different way? And I was thinking about that too, because I think I quit drinking while I was still in corporate for like maybe just a year, I think. And to your point, I left immediately after because I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I don't know, I haven't really come to terms with what that was about, but I feel it now as like, and I'm struggling with this currently, but like, I can't even do that work anymore. Like the thought of helping someone else, especially in something that isn't, I don't know. My mind is on like shady businessy type stuff, right? Like I'm helping, I was consulting these big companies make even more money. And I'm like, to me now that just feels dirty, even though I know it's not always, but my mind is just kind of there now. It's like, no, I need to help people. Something shifted there, and it was either age or the alcohol. Is that what you were talking about? Kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know that, if I had been a healthy person, right, when I was in college, many things would have been so different. And, I don't know that I would have gone down this path, and I wouldn't have drank to like feel okay. Drinking was just like, that was the only way to function, right? Was just like, I don't like myself. I don't like how this is going. I don't like, anything about this. So like, hey, going to happy hour and being one of the guys is like the only way to soothe that,
I think it keeps you stuck there, or certainly did, when you're drinking, it's just sort of same shit, different day, isn't it? And you haven't got the energy to do anything about it. You just, like you say, you're just getting through the day, and it makes your world much smaller
100%. You're exactly right. It is same shit, different day.
Yeah.
Like literally.
Yeah.
It is interesting on yours though, Sammie, that you still kind of were in a helping profession, and specifically in the addiction side.
Yeah.
Which is like, you know, the ultimate helping. It feels like, you know, like
I suppose maybe part of my subconsciously, I'm thinking, oh, well, I'm still helping people that are struggling, so therefore I'm okay because at least I'm still doing that.
Interesting.
You know,
yeah.
It's kind of, you know, they often say about sort of working in a profession to sort of mask your own stuff. You know,
well, we're always the first ones to give somebody else advice or support or anything like that and tell them what to do, opposed to taking that for ourselves, right?
Kind of
So self-care, you know, is usually the last thing on our list.
And even the profession itself can add, you know, I mean, it's just like Jenie's story of like, she truly wanted to help people, but then when she got into that in the profession of actually being a physician, finding how demoralizing it was because it really wasn't about helping people, and that the, you know, the money making aspect of sort of the business, right, of doctoring was counter to what she really wanted to do. And so she found that to be incredibly stressful and just pile on to the burnout feeling. And even though you have this good intention, right, and you're called to help people, like there's still all this other stuff, and it's still you, right? Like you, I mean, what is that saying about wherever you go, there you will be? You know, like it's still you. Like if you're still dragging all your baggage with you, regardless of where you are.
This episode is sponsored by This Naked Mind, a revolutionary approach to changing your relationship with alcohol. When it comes to your drinking, you don't have to hit rock bottom to want something different, and you don't have to do it alone. This Naked Mind blends neuroscience, psychology, and self-compassion to help you stop relying on willpower and start creating real, lasting change. No shame, no labels, and no rules. Whether you want to take a break, drink less, or stop drinking for good, This Naked Mind has a program that meets you where you are, with world-class coaching and a compassionate, judgment-free community to support you every step of the way. Learn more about This Naked Mind at thisnakedmind.com.
I was just thinking about, you know, like the sort of the 4 A's that are asleep, aware, awake, alive, you know, and I just awake, yeah. And when you're kind of not acknowledging to yourself that there's an issue, then it's kind of easier to sort of carry on thinking you're okay. But then once you realise where you're at, then it gets much harder.
Well, if you acknowledge, you got to do something about it. So, and that's really hard. So,
well, the doing something about it can be drinking more.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's what I was wondering when Sammie said that. I was like, I stayed in that, like, probably, I don't know if that would be the aware stage, when I was like, I knew like it was a problem for me most of my corporate career, I think, but I wasn't going to do anything about it, you know. And there was probably a piece of, you know, to our earlier points, there was probably a piece of it there that I'm like, I can't do anything because I'll hurt my career. I think that's a big piece of that, is like, one, I couldn't handle it, right? I was like, I don't want, what am I going to do? Go home and sit with my feelings? No, God, no, that's terrible. But also to that point of like, well, there's a happy hour. I have to go there and talk to these people to help my career. So the thought back then of not drinking was like, I think more today, I bet it's way more prevalent out there. I even know some in the sales world who that's their job, was to go out and, you know, especially on the financial side of things, right? Of like, you know, advisors and wholesalers and stuff going out and drinking with clients all the time. And the ones that have kind of slowed down now are like, actually, I have deeper conversations with fewer clients, but those clients are better. Like, you know, because we've built this, you know, kind of deeper,
it's not a shallow relationship.
Exactly. Which is
to your point though about it hurting your career. I mean, you know, in the service, so I had, you know, security clearances and stuff, and the fear always, I mean, it was a widely known thing that if you sought out, you know, any kind of mental health support, that your security clearance was in jeopardy. And so it was very much a thing of, well, what else are you going to do? Right. If you're struggling, you just need to go out and drinking with your buddies and blow off some steam, because to do anything else would be risking your job. And so it was, and maybe it's different now. I don't know. I hear people talk about it now, and that's still very prevalent concern that, you could lose your existing position anyway, if you need mental health support. And so, yeah, it's a real concern. I don't, and very much like you were saying, even in kind of civilian industry, like the culture is prevalent, and it's a real fear, whether or not it's real to you, whether or not, right, things might not adjust if you did decide to change your relationship with alcohol or seek other support. But I have a lot of sympathy for people who feel like, I have to keep doing this. I think it's a problem, but I have to keep doing this because my whole livelihood depends on it.
Well, even what Agnes was talking about earlier of like, we can't see the other side of it. So Agnes was talking about like how it calms you down, and we're talking about how if we quit, what will happen, because we don't know that actually it's the other way, but our minds are constantly telling us, no, you can't, don't give this up. It helps me.
Yep.
And because our body is like, no, this helps. Please keep doing this. This is the solution right now.
Yep.
It's the stories we're telling ourselves. Why we have to do it. Everybody else is doing it, so I need to do it too. Because if I don't do it, then I won't get that sale, or I won't get this, or I won't get that, whatever it is. Or, you got to do it because you're going to be creative. You're going to be able to problem solve your way through everything. But again, that's all thinking. So it's all so mind related, and what story it is we're telling ourselves and what meaning we're attaching to why we're actually doing it. We have to justify it to ourselves and everyone around us, because to be different is hard.
Yes.
Because you're then surrounding yourself with the same stuff, with everybody who's doing exactly the same thing. But everyone's doing it for their own reasons. And you're thinking you're doing it, that we're all the same.
I thought it was funny that you brought up like being more creative, and like that's kind of one of the stereotypes, like in kind of the creative fields, I would say, is that like, kind of the tortured artist sort of, and like you get your muse from whatever your drug of choice is. And like Stephen King talks about this. He had an alcohol issue years ago, and then, and he quit, and he struggled for the same reason of like, will I be talented anymore if I stop? And then of course he's like one of the most prolific writers of all time, and, hasn't looked back. So like, again, like this story, right, that you're telling yourself, and then and totally disproving it on the other side of it is kind of an eye-opening thing.
Yeah, well, you look at the music industry, or, the actors and all of that, and how many of them have struggled through it too. And it's, again, it could be for the pressures, or it could be that I perform better if I have a drink, or who knows what it is. So that's the crazy part, is it doesn't make a difference. We will find a reason as to why we should do it if we are stuck in that cycle of alcohol will help me.
Yeah. The other thing I was thinking about in this is like how it was modeled for us is so like all of the people that I saw, and I'm thinking I worked at a country club. All of the successful people that I saw that I was telling myself I want to be like that were drinking. Like there, so that kind of, to that story that I had in my head back then, it was only alcoholics stop drinking or don't drink, right? So you have to have a problem in order to stop. And I think that's changed. But so now there's probably models out there that are like, actually, you can be very successful without it.
Yeah.
But I think that was something that didn't help the stories.
No, to your point about the modeling, like also that there's some kind of like this air of sophistication that goes with that. Like you're successful and sophisticated. And so, of course you have 2 martinis and then you have wine at dinner and then you have a dessert drink. And like, it's like, that's what sophisticated people do because they know all about alcohol and they're successful and they have enough money to pay for all that shit,
Yeah.
It's all in the movies. All the scenes. That's what happens. That's what you do.
Totally.
After a long day, that's how you relax. That's how you do it. So the marketing has been amazing because it shows us that we need alcohol to live our lives.
Have you figured out, I want to just talk about this last question a little bit. Kori brought it up, but that might you have gone a different way. I've been trying to imagine that. And I'm finding it impossible. Like, I mean, can you imagine, and you asked that question, can you imagine going back to like, 20 something year olds and not drinking? I don't know what my mind even feels like. Like, it seems like there'd be a little clarity, but also just so much, God, even different stories maybe being told. I'm trying to think of where I would have ended up.
I think it's like you would have had to have been not you. It would have been a different you because, I mean, the reason you started drinking was because of all of your, childhood experiences and the way that you, ended up in your 20s. And like it would have had like so many, it's the whole domino effect. Like so many other things would have had to happen before then for you to be like in a different mental state, for you to had to choose something differently. Alcohol was the solution, right?
Yeah.
To whatever the problem was then.
The thoughts that popped into my head is like, so I went to college to be a doctor, and who knows if that was right? It was probably one of those things where I saw people in the community. I'm like, those people seem cool. But like in my first semester, I gave that dream up and switched. And I'm so in my head, I'm wondering if I was like that focused on, if I was really clear enough in why I wanted to do something, if it would have helped me through it. Right. Like if I could think then like I do now, if that would have been an option, because it wasn't even an option back then. I was like, I can't actually handle this workload, like because I'm drinking all the time.
Yeah, right.
So like maybe organic chemistry would have been a little easier if I would have spent more than 30 minutes looking at it.
Yeah, but then you know what? But then who knows? If it wasn't drinking, who knows what else it could have been?
Right.
It could have been food. Yeah. It could have been some other kind of thing. So you don't. I guess once you experience it, it's hard to say.
But we're doing it now.
So. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think it would have made any difference what job I did. I think it would have. Drinking was just part of it, it's just a part of the generation that I was in, and that's what everybody did. And I don't think.
Yeah, and I think it's just a part of my journey to begin with. So you know what? I don't. I can't say I've accepted it for what it was. I've learned all the lessons that I had to, and now I'm just doing everything differently.
I would like you all to start calling me doctor, though.
I didn't know that you were going to be a doctor, Brian. That's the first thing.
Well, I mean, I was for. Yeah, I also went to law school.
Doctor and a lawyer all at once.
Well, I dropped both of them. I'm neither. So, but yeah, that's what. So interesting. Well, cool. I like that topic.
Yeah, that was good.
I think Jenny just put that in recently. So good. Sorry, Jenny. She wasn't here, but that was a great topic.
I think I hope there's a bit more. There is more awareness around it a bit now, and
for sure.
And I think there's more support out there if you are struggling in being able to ask for help without the fear. Not everywhere, but there was such a fear. If you asked, like Kori said, as a nurse, you're not going to admit you're struggling with alcohol because you could lose your PIN.
Really? Still?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think that there's, it's not an automatic. There is a lot more awareness that it's a huge problem for a lot of people, rather than, just the people that, as you say, would have been classed as the ones that were the alcoholics. It's a very easy thing to slip into, drinking every night. It's social, it's legal, it's acceptable, it's promoted,
that's why we need to talk about it.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yep.
It's giving everyone that space and to know that, they're normal and it's okay and you'll get through this. And that's it. So
that's exactly what
Agnes.
I was thinking, like, how many people back in your working days did you know that didn't drink? Like, there were a handful that I knew. And I think, to your point, it's because no one would talk about that part, right? Now I think more and more people, because we've even done some corporate, 30, 60, 90-day challenges where it's even getting brought up by the workplace, which is totally different than it was, and I mean, not drinking at a holiday party. I even have a friend who like tried to order a mocktail because she was pregnant and was hiding it. And I think back to that. I'm like, because even that was like, you couldn't. I mean, that might have been because she wasn't ready to tell people she was pregnant too. But I was like, man, to have to hide it, just it's so sad. But wonderful. You're all the best.
Oh.
Have a lovely day.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. If something we said resonated, made you laugh, or made you think, we'd love it if you share it with someone who might need it too. And if you're curious about going alcohol-free or just ready to feel more connected to yourself, check out This Naked Mind. Annie's work brought us all together, and we're so grateful for the impact it's had. On that note, a big thank you to Annie Grace and This Naked Mind for making this podcast possible. We'll see you next time on This Naked Chat.